I posted a video not long ago giving my opinion on the missile strikes we're conducting on suspected drug boats off the coast of Venezuela. And if you follow me on social media, I've shared with you some of the interesting responses I've gotten back, many of them profane or threatening, and I guess a few that I should be flattered that people think I'm limber enough to do to myself some of the things that they've suggested. But there are two criticisms in particular that I wanted to talk about briefly. One is people say, well, why didn't you say anything when President Obama was launching drone strikes that killed hundreds and hundreds of people? Well, if you go on Google and type in my name, Morris Davis, put it in quotations, and then put drone after it and hit enter, you'll get scores of results, where I wrote law journal articles and op-ed opinions and did TV interviews and gave talks expressing my disagreement with the Obama drone policy, particularly the use of the CIA, which is not part of the military, to carry out military actions in foreign countries. So that criticism is not a valid criticism. It's just a laziness that people didn't take the time to do the research before they spouted off. The other criticism is, well, why haven't we talked about, what President Bush and President Biden and President Obama did, that whataboutism thing. Yeah, so Trump's killing people, but so did they. Well, there's a big difference in what they did and what he's doing. Whether you like it or not, President Bush, President Obama, and President Biden were acting under the authorization for the use of military force. That was a piece of legislation Congress passed after the 9/11 attacks that gave the president the authority to take military action against, quote, all nations, organizations, or persons he determined, planned, authorized, committed, or aided the terrorist attacks that occurred on September the 11th, 2001. And based on that congressional authority, it's true that President Bush, President Obama, and President Biden took a number of military actions around the world going after Al-Qaeda or ISIS or related groups that were in some way connected with 9/11. But you can't apply that same rationale to what's taking place off the coast of Venezuela. There's never been any suggestion that any of these drug cartels were in any way involved in the terrorist attacks that took place 24 years ago. So what is the basis for President Trump to take the action that he's taking now? And I don't believe that there's any. And it's certainly inconsistent to kill the little guys in the little boats out in the middle of the ocean while you're freeing the kingpins from prison, folks that have been convicted beyond a reasonable doubt of being involved in the drug trade. So we get into this whataboutism thing where you try to excuse what President Trump does by comparing it to something that a prior administration did, where you're comparing apples to oranges. Well, again, as I said, I was opposed to what President Obama was doing with the drone program, just as I'm opposed to what President Trump is doing now. I felt back then that we had drifted away from the values that we purported to represent. And it's sad that rather than getting closer, we're getting further and further away. We need to be the country we purport to be, and we're certainly not living up to that right now.